When you think about a rattle trap and the historical, technical places you always fish it, pre-spawn, grass, fall, shad bait, that's all good stuff. But when you look at a rattle trap in the water and what it does and how it fishes, it complements a lot of moving baits. It complements a spinnerbait, a squarebill, a chatterbait, a swim jig. All those baits, you know, you can fish between right on the surface and 4, 5, 6 foot. Most of the time I fish those baits, I'm fishing 2 to 4 foot of water. And you can do the same thing with the rattle trap. You got a fast retrieve, you got a good vibration. I can pick it up, I can drop it, I can pull it. I can do a lot of different things with this bait, and it fits in that same category as other moving baits. But it's just a non-traditional way to fish it, put it in non-traditional places. Showing fish new baits, new techniques is definitely a way to get you more bites. I'm fishing just a riprap bank. Just put a 1/2 ounce original rattle trap, covering water. And it's the same thing, you're doing the same thing with the rattle trap that you want to do with a square bill or a spinnerbait or a chatterbait or a swim jig. We're just covering water. And anytime you can hit the rocks to get a deflection, that's key to getting bites. So you got to give yourself a few feet, let the rocks angle down, get into the water, and you can get a little depth on your cast. So you got to find the right depth for the rocks. You know, where the fish are set up on that ding. Because they live on rocks, year round, riprap, they live there. You just gotta find out what's the right deal. And then with riprap, you're dealing with a million hiding spots. There's a million rocks, so you got a million ambush points, you got a million things from the hide behind, and bass just love riprap. You just gotta fish it. So one thing we know in bass fishing is that the wind is your friend. If you got a situation where you got wind blowing right into a bank, that's a great time to throw a moving bait, get a reaction bait, and cover some water and catch a few fish. The bait I'm gonna throw in there is traditional 1/2 ounce rattle trap. Depending on the water depth, if you're looking at probably 4 foot or deeper, you can go to a 1/2 ounce. If you're looking at 4 foot or shallower, a 1/4 ounce works real good. What I want to do is kind of parallel quarter cast that trap. I want to hit several things on the same cast. I want to hit where that water gets deep enough, where it goes from real shallow into deep enough where them fish could be. That's the first thing I want to hit. I want to hit any rocks that are just out a little bit. It'll isolate it, cover, and then what I want to do is just retrieve that bait and hit any kind of outside grass I can get. So I want to cover everything I can in one cast. If you make that cast and you keep the rod tip up a little bit, that bait right there is probably a foot or 2 under the water. Same as I'd have a spinnerbait or a chatterbait or a swim jig. So I can take a bait that traditionally we've always been taught to put the rod tip down and just burn it back. And that's, I mean, you can catch fish on a rattle trap doing that. But if you go non-traditional, keep your rod tip up, it's almost like waking a spinnerbait or you know, seeing that chatterbait on a retrieve, and you pump it and you kill it, and that bait really comes to life. One cool thing about throwing that rattle trap shallow is when you get to hit cover. And what makes that rattle trap a little different is the way it flares up when it hits that cover. So you see this rock in the water right here. Watch when that rattle trap hits that rock. It'll flare up on its side before it tracks back down. Makes a big wide loop. If you could just change something a little bit during every retrieve, you'll get more bites. So I'm fishing shallow, throwing a rattle trap, up shallow, rocks, docks, wood. I'm throwing a 1/2 ounce or a 1/4 ounce original rattle trap. For line, I like to throw it on anything from 15 to 20. 15 to 20 lets me get the strength that I need when I'm bumping in a shallow cover, but I can still cast it and place it where I want it. This is 20-pound covert from Cast King. On the rod, I like a 7.4 composite medium heavy. The reason I like that rod is I got tip so I can cast it. I got tip so I can fight that fish, but I have backbone because I'm fishing shallow around cover. I want to better move that fish out of that cover and get him in the boat. This rod here is a Spirale from Cast King, 7.4 medium heavy composite. On the reel, I like something a little faster. I like an 8 1-to-1. I can really control that bait. It's easy for me to slow down and it's to speed up. And I got enough power to move fish and get them in the boat. This reel right here is a Bassinet Elite from Cast King, 8 1-to-1. And this setup, for me, is comfortable. I use this setup for a lot of my shallow water power fishing. Got a lot of confidence in it. I'm real comfortable with it. And I think it helps me put fish in the boat. Here's a place that you don't throw a rattle trap a whole bunch, but it works. It makes perfect sense. Probably should do more of it, but here's a look at it. We're putting a rattle trap that's a traditional, original, 1/2 ounce rattle trap, skipping it and pitching it under docks, whether it's pole docks or floating docks. Just make that cast, sometime it'll skip in there. What you want to do is let it sink to however deep you want it, and then you just want to pump it up. And when you pump it, so on the whole cast, the good thing about it is when you make that cast, the bait gets under the dock to a fish that's never seen a rattle trap before. That rattle trap will shimmy down, it'll fall down, and then you just jig it up, and then you get that rattle trap swim, you get that rattle trap sound, and you'll get bit. Same place you flip a jig or a swim jig or a chatterbait, and then what you want to do is when you get to the corners of these docks, just make that cast to there, past the dock, by that corner of that dock, and maybe pull it and kill it, or just kind of speed it up or slow it down, just something a little different. So just attack traditional dock fishing with a non-traditional bait. Just the same thing you do with traditional baits, shade pockets, points, corners, dock fishing 101. Now we're just doing it with a different bait and showing them something new. Rattle trap has traditionally been a grass spring bait, a fall shad bait. But when you look at what it can do and how you can swim it and how you can cast it, it fits right in with all the other traditional baits, the spinnerbait and the chatterbait and the swim jig. It fits right in, same depth, different action. It looks different, it swims a little different, but it fits right in with those traditional baits.